Yes, thanks for staying with us on the Sports Show, Poppy. Of course, we have some amazing events here in South Australia. We know the Tour Down Under has galvanised the community. Certainly,
Clipsal's fantastic.
Clipsal is fantastic. And, of course, the Equestrian, the Australian International Equestrian event will be here November 3rd to the 6th. Our next guest, Sarah Clarke, will be competing in that event. Sarah, thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
All right, are you nervous?
Yes.
Is this more nervous than going over a jump?
I would say so, yes.
She's very confident on the back of her horse.
Confident.
And you know what? This event, though, has been fantastic.
Massive.
And, you know, and I love the equine industry, full stop. You know, whether it's, I mean, I like to have a flutter as well, I must say, but my daughter and I have been down the event and it's really well run. How is it regarded nationally, even internationally?
It's probably Australia's premier eventing event. It's the only what we call 4-star graded event in the Southern Hemisphere. So it's very highly regarded on an international scale as well as down here in Australia.
When you come to compete at an event like that, how long is the build-up to get to that event?
It's long-term planning. So normally we're thinking years and years in advance, but when it comes down to the year of the competition, you need to think about the fitness of the horse, what the horse needs to be qualified for that level of event. So I've been planning this horse at this event, well, since she was born, but also planning her event schedule from the beginning of this year.
When you come into an event like this, there's so many things across the 3 days. Your horse, Roxy, who you're competing with, how difficult is there, like an athlete, triathlete, there's always a couple of events they're good at, be it the swimming and the running. Are the horses the same? Very
much. Because it's what we call a multi-disciplined event, they have to be good at different things. So, yeah, it's very hard to find a horse that's capable in all of these areas. My girl, she is what we would call, she's very careful. She's a bit suspicious. She's not the bravest horse in the world.
So she's a typical woman.
Yeah, well, I'll hit you later. So she's taken a little bit of time to mature in the cross-country phase, which is where they jump big ditches and big water. She's kind of needed some convincing about that, but that carefulness means that she's fantastic in the show jumping. She will not knock those poles down.
No, very solid. Tell us about the course then. Variances in the course. How do you prepare for that? How do you prepare your horse for that? How much time do you need out to understand what the course is going to present? Well,
we don't actually know what the course is until we arrive and we get maps. So although if you've been to the event before, you're familiar with the parklands and things like that. So we will I will definitely walk the course at least 3 times, because not only do you need to think about where the course runs and where to turn, but each individual fence can be comprised of, 3 or 4 obstacles, and you've got to think, okay, where am I going to turn? How am I going to approach this fence? What angle do I need to hit that rail at? So
from you on riding the horse, visualisation is an important part, but the horse itself, how do you present that horse? How do you get the horse to
Well, that's prepare? It, because they don't get to walk the course. So that's why a brave horse is definitely an advantage, but I suppose a lot of that comes down to the partnership that you build with your horse over all these years, especially if they're not so brave. They have to trust you, that you're going to guide them in a safe, in the right direction, but they're not, going to get hurt, and they have to trust you that they're going to be okay if they go where you say they're going to go. So
what about the crowd though, Sarah? I mean, some events you compete in, not a big crowd. This crowd, an event is big. Do the horses get spooked a little bit?
This is my particular challenge for this event. My horse has been on very good form recently. She's done very well. But the crowd, as I said, she's not the bravest horse. The crowds are going to get to her. So I think my challenge for this event would be, seeing how she reacts and copes with the crowds that she hasn't seen at the lead-up events that she's excelled at. Sometimes they come around a corner or around a tree and whoa, there's a crowd there.
And it's a decent crowd too.
Yeah, and they don't experience that until they get there.
Yeah, so. But how do you condition a horse? It's just, it's all in. that's it.
Well, that's it. So this year, you know, I would love to be competitive and to have a great result. But I'm looking, next year I would like to be qualified for the 4-star, which is the highest class we have here. So this year I'm thinking, okay, she needs to see these things, she needs to see the crowd, and she needs to learn that it's okay and how to deal with them. And next year I will expect her to be a bit more accepting of them. And
so you can't at home on the arena or riding around have the family out screaming, waving.
Well, actually, no, we do. I've got things like bunting flapping in the wind.
Yes.
You can tie that around the arena, and you get a bit of that noise that gets to them. Audio of clouds clapping and cheering. It's a bit hard to get the visual of you know, a mass of people at home. I suppose I could print off a big photo.
But it's funny, all those, and it's all those little 1% areas in a sport like that where it can be so competitive at the top that therein lies the difference sometimes.
Well, that can be it, because often the margins are so small that I think my last event I came second, but it was 0.3 of a penalty. So, you know, if I'd been, you know, 30 seconds faster or scored 0.3% more on my dressage test, I would have won. So.
Do you have to taper? Do you taper your horse as the event gets closer? You know, we talk about athletes going into the Commonwealth Games or Olympic Games. They have to ease back. Is it the same with the horse?
We talk about having a horse at peak condition at the time of the event. So, and again, it can depend on the breeding of the horse, because some of these horses that have warm blood in them, they need a lot more fitness work than a thoroughbred, an off-the-track horse who is built to run and has ingrained, you know, stamina in them. You can taper off probably the week of the event. I'll definitely not be galloping her, but at the moment she's galloping sort of every 5 days.
And enjoying it probably.
Yeah, she likes a bit of a run.
You mentioned thoroughbred or off-the-track horses. The transition for them, I guess, poses a few extra problems, but there is history in that happening? Yeah,
definitely. Especially in Australia, it's very, very common for riders to acquire horses off the track. And yes, that's one of the challenges, is to retrain the brain, especially, and also the body of things that happen to them in pre-training life, training life, racing life. But they are very, very suited for eventing, obviously, because of that aspect of fitness and stamina. In Australia, it's a very common way to acquire horses for the sport.
In Australia, in so many sports, we seem to fight above our weight, and I guess this is no different. Equestrians, you know, over the journey, we've been quite fortunate to present on a world present at the top level. Year in and year out. How does South Australia fit within that?
Well, this event is, as I said, the only 4-star event in the Southern Hemisphere. So without flying horses to Europe or America, Adelaide Australian International Horse Trials is the only way to prepare and qualify horses and riders for things like the Olympics. We actually have South Australia is quite a small community in eventing compared to places like New South Wales and Victoria, but we actually have quite a good record of sending South Australian riders to the Olympics. We've had Jill Rolton, Wendy Schaefer, Megan Jones, all little old South Australians.
Fantastic, great. It's great stuff.
Well, November the 3rd to the 6th, you want to be a part of the Adelaide International Equestrian event here in Adelaide. It is spectacular. Sarah will be competing. We wish you all the best. Hopefully we can talk to you after with a medal dangling around your neck, but we need to get to a break. Stay with us. Still plenty to come on the show.